Hi, I'm Michi and welcome to Daily Reflections. In the last episode, we've been talking about the shortcomings of apps like Headway or Blinkist, but also how you can actually use them, or I could if I used them. Didn't do it so far, still, maybe. And today we will touch upon a topic related to goals, processes, and we'll dive into it in a second. But before that, I had a disturbing experience. Minutes before, I was preparing a coffee, and you should know that I usually don't drink espressos, not Nespresso, but espressos. Just too strong, unless I want to feel like George Clooney in those incredible ads, or like an Italian businessman in one of those standing coffee places in Milano. But usually I don't. So there was already milk in my cup, and while I was pouring the coffee in, the color didn't much change. So I thought, like, phew, this must be thin. I'm pouring. Now I come down here, take a sip, and was like, wow, definitely too strong for me. So just didn't mix well. I'll do that next time. Take the feedback and learn from it. Yeah, also, by the way, ads are bad for society. Still, there are some ads I like in terms of how they were made. And some ads can be good. Fair enough. Well, this was off topic. Let's get back to the topic. We're gonna talk about why I focus on the process, not the outcome, and why the outcome still matters. All right. What does it mean? In general, the idea, it's great. And for years, I've been fascinated by this way of thinking, by this approach, that I should not focus on the outcome, or not solely focusing on the outcome, but rather on the process. And there are plenty of reasons for that. Some great people have been talking about it, like Warren Buffett or Julie Amato or Joe Madden. They're famous for quoting it and also for stating it as one of their reasons for success. Now, how is that? Taking the example of Warren Buffett, is that the thing he suggests is that we should not evaluate a decision or process based on the outcome, like afterwards, but only based on decision and process itself, what went into it, and how we came to that decision. Because an outcome is influenced by so many other factors, the setup, the environment, other people, that it's not 100% under my control, your control, what the outcome will be, and therefore we should rather focus on the process. Now here comes the issue, the first issue. For ever, like from growing up, unless you went to a very modern school or had very different parents, then we're taught that the outcome matters. Whether it's in sport or at school, at work, we always focus on the outcome. We get evaluated by the outcome. And at some point, and I do, evaluate myself based on the outcome. For example, let's look at grades back in school. The only thing that really matters is the final grade you get on that test, on that assignment. Nobody cares on how much energy, how much creativity, how much time you've invested in the learning or at work. Again, nobody cares about how creative you were and how much time you spend on it. The end result is what gets evaluated, and we get that feedback, especially in big corporates, once a year during our performance evaluation. And that has some pitfalls because, as I said, sometimes and most of the time there are factors at play that are out of my control. So even if I had the best process, made the best decision, although I cannot evaluate that properly or validate that properly, it might still fail. A test, I might have had a bad day. I was sick. At work, whatever it is, it's out of our control. And for that reason, those great thinkers and people suggest that we focus on the process. Because if we only focus on the outcome, we'll get disappointed, we'll get discouraged, and after all, we probably sooner than later will stop pursuing this, will stop investing the energy and time, because it doesn't yield the results we're looking for, or it might not yield the results. And therefore, instead of looking at the outcome, we look at the process. And I've been fascinated by that idea. Because no matter what the outcome is, I can still feel confident, I can still improve, I can still like the thing, appreciate the thing I'm doing on a daily basis, no matter the outcome. And it has worked perfectly well for me in so many areas, and I still like the idea. But there's a catch to it. And the catch I see here is when we consider a time frame. Like in the short run, this makes perfectly sense to just focus on the process, on the decision, and improve the process, improve the decision. But there are situations where no matter how much I improve, I will not get the outcome, or it's very unlikely that I'll get the outcome that I'm looking for. And after all, in the long run, the outcome also matters. Very simple example, imaginative, illustrative, but I think you'll get the point. Agriculture. No matter how good our technology, no matter how good our processes, if we have nothing to harvest at the end, if there's no fruits, no vegetables that we can harvest, then improving the process, even pursuing it, might not make sense. And it might be because you're living on the moon and nothing grows there. So, okay, I get it. There are still ways around this, and you probably find a setup and a process that also allows you to grow food on the moon. But in general, there are times where no matter how good we are, how much we invest, it will not lead us to the outcome. And to some extent, illustrated by that example, the outcome also matters. And I've experienced that at work as well. There are environments, there are places where no matter how enthusiastic I am about improving things, if it doesn't actually improve on the level of the outcome, in the long run, at least I didn't get there yet, will not make me happy. Because there are limits to that. Also for relationships. I could be in a relationship that I invest the energy and time to improve it, to improve how I interact in that relationship. But if it just doesn't yield the result, if the other person is not responding to that, and our relationship doesn't improve, then after some time, I still can and should make the decision to stop investing in it. And that's exactly where the outcome again matters. Or because we talked about Joe Madden, no, actually, doesn't make sense. But let's look at NBA. I will not make it to be a great NBA player. First of all, I'm probably too old by now, but also I'm way too small. So no matter how much I invest, my chances of being a professional NBA player are very, very low. I might still like the process and enjoy it, but chances are that I will be pretty unhappy at the end if my goal is to be a professional NBA player. So my goals should also be realistic. Good point. But again, that's where the outcome matters as well. At least, again, that's how I view it. In a nutshell, very good advice, especially because we have been taught that the outcome matters. So we should take that advice. I take that advice to focus on the process, to improve that. Because sometimes it's just chance that I didn't get the result I expected. But the process was still good. But the outcome also matters. And we have to distinguish between when we should focus on the process and when to focus on the outcome. And only together we'll be able to have a happy, fulfilling life and make good decisions. And there are also many other factors that make a good, happy, fulfilling life. But at some point we will have covered all of them. At least. That's my goal, right? Cool. I'm so much looking forward to hear about your thoughts. What do you think about it? What do you focus on? What are you actually focusing on? The outcome or the process? Or both? Or neither? Let me know. It was my pleasure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.